Channel Surfer here, and today I'm going to be dissecting a Game Boy Advance SP and a Nintendo DS and comparing their stats. Now, first off, the Game Boy Advance SP is a handheld game console that's the 6th generation era of the Game Boy line. It came out in Japan on February 14, 2003, in North America on March 23, 2003, and was discontinued in most countries except for Japan 5 years later on January 31st. There were over 43.5 million units shipped across the world so far. And the CPU on this is roughly around a 32-bit ARM7 TDMI CPU. A few of its best-selling games are Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, with 13 million units of that combined shipped around the world. And then coming up in a runner-up is again another Pokemon game, Pokemon Emerald, with 6.32 million. The predecessor of the Game Boy Advance SP was the Game Boy Advance, and the successor was the Nintendo DS, the second thing that I'll be dissecting today. When the Nintendo DS is closed, the size is approximately 8.4 by 8.2 by 2.44 centimeters. The weight's about 5 ounces. The screen roughly takes up about 2.9 inches, and it's reflective and capable of color. The power is a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, and the battery life lasts for up to 10 hours with the light on and 18 hours with the light off. It only needs about 3 hours of recharging to continue use. The CPU, like I said, was a 32-bit ARM7 TDMI with embedded memory. The coprocessor is, sadly, a small 8-bit Zilog Z80, and the memory is only capable of 32 kilobytes, just regularly, but is boosted by a 96 kilobyte VRAM internal CPU and a 256 kilobyte DRAM, which is external CPU. The average resolution for the Game Boy Advance SP is about 240 by 160 pixels. So it's okay resolution, not great. This thing can be found in multi-colors, ranging from blue to silver, like I have here, to black. And yeah, that's basically just the specs for the Nintendo DS, or Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. Coming back from that little fail and mess up, here's the Nintendo DS. It's also known as the iQDS for people that didn't already know that. It's developed by Nintendo and manufactured by Foxconn, and it's part of the Nintendo DS family, sporting the Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo 2DS, and the likes. It's a handheld game console and the 7th generation of the Game Boy Advance series. It was released on the 21st of November 2004 in North America first, not even in Japan first, because Japan came in December 2nd of the same year, and it went across the world pretty quickly. Its retail availability is pretty small, though. It was only a 3-year span from 2004 to 2007 after they came out with the Nintendo 3DS and the Nintendo 2DS. It was basically seen as not needed. Also, the DSi basically put it out of retail. Worldwide, there were over almost 154 million models of this unit sold across the world. The dimensions are 148.7 millimeters wide, 84.7 millimeters deep, and 28.9 millimeters high. The two TFT LCD screens are roughly 62 millimeters by 46 millimeters by roughly 77 millimeters diagonal. The Nintendo DS has a better pixelation system hoisting a good 256 by 192 pixels compared to the SP, which only had roughly, I'd have to say, what was it? About 240 by 160. The Nintendo DS system has 2 ARM processors for the CPU, and for the RAM, about 4 megabytes of expandable space on the thing. The input, there's a power button, 8 digital buttons, the D-pad, a resistive touchscreen for only the lower screen, and a microphone which you can speak into, and basically relay stuff over the internet. The voltage, it's only 101.65 volts, and has a rechargeable 850 lithium-ion battery, basically. It has 256 kilobytes of serial flash memory and a built-in 802.11 wireless network connection encryption support. As most people know, the Nintendo DS is compatible with all Game Boy games, and it's just a good time. Alright, so let's start the dissection. In order to get into the system, we're going to check out this lithium-ion battery first, since it's the main source of power on this thing. And then we're going to take apart the insides and see the circuitry board. So looking on the inside, whoa, sorry about that, guys. Looking on the inside, we got the lithium-ion battery and the basic panoramic of the inside. Looking at the inside, we can see the ARM CPU unit along with the memory and the game processing used to identify each game. Other than that, it's pretty complex circuitry. Yeah, that's basically the inside of a Game Boy. In order to fully get into the system and peel it back from the DS, you'll have to get rid of nails that are right here, and right there, and yeah, that's about it to get the circuitry off of the back of the Game Boy. And once you do that, it looks pretty sick. Peeling it apart, you look at that, and there's your touch screen, your touchpad, from your or your basic Game Boy touchpad, your start button, your select button, and the lighting changing, and basically everything else. It hooks up to right here where you get all the input from. But yeah, as you can see, that's the inside, the only part of the inside of the Game Boy that is visible. I could crack it open completely and show you the insides of the screen, but what I've learned is that the inside of most of these like display things is that when you crack it open, it's a little bit more circuitry, and then there's mirrors and like dividing lenses that allow it to function pretty easily and give off light and stuff and picture. Sorry, you could see my phone there. Galaxy S3, by the way, best phone ever. I know I'm gonna get some comments on that. Jeez. You can get the battery for the Game Boy and the DS at Radio Shack for a pretty low price. But yeah, after about 3 or 4 years of recharging these batteries, they tend to completely just die on you. just because of overuse and continuous recharging. But really, really nice battery. Great for this type of system. Now for the Nintendo DS Lite. The system can basically run for about 24 hours. Good full day, and it only takes, like the SP, about 3 hours to recharge. And of course, you can always play while it's charging. It's just not very good for the system, and it degrades the system's battery life by a lot. Now, as you can see, we got slot 2 here, which holds the Game Boy Advance games, and then slot 1 holds the DS games. As you can see from the inside, kinda, not really. They're both pretty good. Checking it out right here, this is where the stylus would go. Don't have one with me at the moment, and battery's held in here. And to take apart the system, you need to get rid of these two, and then a few screws on the inside of the system. So I'll start the dissection, I guess. Pulling this apart is a big thing. It's kind of difficult with one hand to pull these screws apart, but it is still doable if I can just... the fun of being a one-man crew. It's worth it though. Just going to go like that, and I should be able to get this open. I got the other two screws out. Okay, so got it off. As you can see, it's another lithium-ion battery, perfect for this type of equipment. Heavily used in all of the Game Boy and DSi family systems. I'm just gonna take this right out of there because it's a real big pain. This is what it looks. This is what it looks like with the battery out. As you can see, there's two more screws that will help me get inside the system once I get rid of those. And other than that, yeah. As you guys can see, this was inevitable. They have screws on the inside of the bottom part of the Nintendo DS that you can't get at with a jeweler's screwdriver. So I basically just ripped it off. This is practically what it looks like. You can see that there's a screw there, screw right there. That was not going to come off. It wasn't going to let it come off, basically. But we got to the good stuff. As you can see here, we have the Nintendo circuitry board for the DS, and it is a lot more complex, just by the looks of it, than the other one, the Nintendo Game Boy. In order to get to the other side, the flip side of this, we're going to have to take out a few nails, one right there, or screws, if you will. And I'm going to have to be very, very careful with this portion because I already somewhat damaged this this DS just by ripping off the back cover. And what did I tell you guys? Like I said, the screen here is practically composed of multiple mirrors. And when you look into it farther, that's basically just all it comprises of. As you can see, the touchpad for both sides of the DS are here, along with the start and select button. Basically everything runs off of this circuitry board. Without it, the DS would just not work. So that's the Nintendo DS and the Game Boy SP for you. In the upcoming videos, I'm going to be posting a few more League of Legends videos for you guys. And a few more gameplay walkthroughs and stuff in the upcoming months. If you like the video, please subscribe, drop a like. It really helps. Thank you guys. Have a great day.